Welcome to my new sound collection for the Korg Modwave. This is Analog Set Volume 2. This is another set of 30, I think it's 31 performances, all analog flavoured. There are some programs as well that you can incorporate into your own performances. So there's a mixture of analog type sounds here that I've created, modelling on some synths like JX3P, JX8, MiniKorg, CS80, and some are just created using analog techniques on the Modwave. In this video, I'm just going to demonstrate some of the sounds and some of the thought processes behind them. So maybe some of the ideas from this will help you with your own patches. I'm going to start with 80s romance piano. It kind of made me think of sort of 80s movies. With an arpeggiator on there and the nice pad. So as you can hear, there's two layers on this one. We've got the soft arpeggiator and LFO pad. It's very subtle LFO on there, just moving the filter cutoff around just to give it a bit of movement. Little acid sequence type one. And here you can hear the cutoff being changed by LFO and the resonance as well. Using the MS-20 filter, quite like that, especially when you drive it, how it gives a nice sort of bit of a dirty feel to it. Using the MS-20 filter on this one, it gives a more gritty feel to it. Politics is a nice warm filter. Yeah, the MS-20 one has a bit more grit to it. A couple of analog basses. I quite like this one, especially even with the right hand, you can use it as sort of a leader. And just using a bit of pulse width modulation and the sub oscillator on that. So effectively got three oscillators driving that bass sound. So we've got a sawtooth, pulse width, and the sub oscillator. This is a variation of that one. Put a bit of sequence to it and a bit of a drum pattern with it. Made it mono as well. And using a drum technique there that I've demonstrated a few times on these videos now, using the sequencer and the arpeggiator to trigger the kick and the snare. And we've got some nice soft analog bells. Using ring modulation to get that effect, so using two sine waves, aren't we? Yeah, two sine waves and ring modulation to get that effect. Another one that uses motion sequencing, and I've got sort of an arpeggiated. So this one uses motion sequencing based off two CS80 sounds that I've created. So you can hear the motion sequence kicking in there, triggering the filter, and this sequence lane is actually altering the release time or the decay time on the filter. And that gives you that sort of strumming, almost strumming effect. And then on the other layer, got a bit of drum sequencing on there. And we've got FM going on as well, using LFO to trigger that. So you can hear that FM kicking in there. So this one is quite an atmospheric one. So here we've got a few layers on there. So the synth is a CS80 type brass sound. And then what I've done in the lower key, I've split the keyboard and we've got a kick for just a bit of atmosphere. So you can see that that arpeggiator kicking in there on the 4-pole. So then we've got a bit of distorted poly. I've used a guitar amp on this to just give it that bit of grit. Using the MS-20 filter as well. Now this is one of my favourite sort of warm sounds I get off the Modwave. So it's a nice warm sound. And I've set some of the mod controls up there so you can control the attack, so you can have a sharp attack, or you can slow that attack down. Some modulation speed. So this is called Super Warm. It's just a nice warm sound that I doubled up to get 2 layers on there with a little bit of I've got 2 different filters, got the Polar 6 filter and the MS-20 filter to give it a bit of sonic variation. It's got a nice warm pad sound on there. This is called Filter Bass. I used on the middle section of one of my own tracks, Evolve, that I recently released. So you hear that, you can hear the filter there kicking in. So if you play like, so quite a nice filter control sound. And this one's called Filter Sync, and you can use the Chaos for this one. So this one's called Filter Sync, which has got some Chaos control on it. The filter LFO is being controlled by the Chaos. So it adds a bit of randomness to it, which I really like. Some nice effects going on with that. This one's called Flutter Pad. So we've got a nice string section, poly synth. And then you can hear the arpeggiator strings giving it the up. So this one's called Flutter Pad. Really nice warm top pad sound. And then you get that sort of flutter coming from this filtered arpeggiated layer. This one is an FM shifting bass. So here you can hear that bass sound like it's almost like changing note, but it's not, it's the same note, and it's just using frequency modulation on the 2 oscillators to get that effect. Not unlike the, I got the idea from the Stuntman track by Edgar Froese from Tangerine Dream, and that recreation of that is actually in the Tangerine Dream pack, which you can get from digitalifestyle.com as well. Bit of grit bass. Nice gritty bass. See, I used the MS-20 filter for that as well. JX3P Pluck Pad. I took after inspiration from a JX3P. We just got some resonance on there with the filter open, very initial attack, and then it settles down into the pad sound. This is a similar idea, modelled after a JX8. Bit of resonance on there, and then a sweep. More on sweep later in the video. Lazer Harp is a tribute to Jean-Michel Jarre and the Lazer Harp sound from the Elka Synth. I am working on a sample pack with Elka Synth sounds, actually. That's where I got the idea from. This is a bit brighter. So it's not exactly the same, but that's where it's inspired from. That's where the idea came from. To get that effect, I'm using sawtooths and some filter and some sync modulation. You can hear the sync on it. So on the Synthex, I think I used portamento on the oscillators to give the sync effect, to give that sweeping sound by only putting the portamento on one of them. But I've just applied it using an envelope. This one's called Mime is Split. It's got a nice pad sound, and then the bass sequence. That one is using a Jupiter style pad, and the Miami bass is pulse width with a motion sequencer. So next one is MiniKorg. So the MiniKorg 700S. I based this on the triangle lead sound. Quite a bit of portamento on this. And I used faded in LFO on the tuning to give the delayed vibrato. Modelled off the Minilogue classic lead, which Minilogue's over there. So a nice lead sound, and I basically did it by ear, but it's using a triangle wave so it's using a triangle wave and a square wave. And using the legato mode as well with the portamento. This another one I based on the Minilogue Octave Bass. Quite synth poppy. And just use the motion sequence there to do the octave bass, but 2 of each octave. That would split quite nicely with some other layered stuff as well. So this is a sound I use on another one of my tracks on my album, Words of Nonsense, on the Kraftwerk sound. So this is called Not the Robot Bass because this is not from the robots. I use this on one of my own tracks, a bit of a homage to Kraftwerk. And it uses that similar effect, but I'm using the motion sequencer to get that effect. So quite a nice effect and quite a nice bass, and you can just turn it. And if you can hear on the other layer, I've got a bit of zap to go with it as well. So two sounds there you can play with. Out of solo, another kind of solo one, just an atmospheric one. Nice atmospheric sort of effect on there. So this is using the CS80 brass and that kick that I demonstrated earlier on. So this one I did try and model the. So for this one I tried to model the Rush Tom Sawyer sound. Don't know how close I got. Pretty close, I think. But it's actually a really nice sound. And that is your classic filter sweep on there. So I use the MS-20 filter again, that seems to sound the best. Politics is a bit too nice. But I use the envelope to bring that sweep in there, quite a bit of resonance on there. And I use a sub as well to add a bit of grit to compensate perhaps for some of the low end being cut off by the resonance. So a nice sound on there. So here's another sound that is from one of my albums. This is from a track called Marksman, and I was trying to get sort of the Gary Newman type sound in there, especially when it pitches up. So that's what I did. So I've got the sort of Jupiter type sound and a long portamento on it. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of pitch modulation on there as well, using a LFO. So a nice effect. So it's called slide up, but it does slide down as well because we're using finger portamento like that. So a slow attack. So on this one, it has got a slow attack, but you can hear that initially the two oscillators are tuned quite far apart and they come together. and you can control that through the mod. So that's without any, and if you put a lot, they do come together, so you can control that yourself. But you can hear there's quite a bit of pitch drifting on between the two oscillators. So this is a sequence one, and you've got some different controls over this. So we've got the basic sequence, and then you have some pitch modulation. And some sync. And some reverb. And again, you've got some controls over this one as well. So here we've got another sync sound. And I'm using the DW8000 waveforms and using the sync and stretch features on that. Wonky Stabs uses a technique I showed before about the sort of tuning. You can bring them together or you can have them out a bit. That initial attack is out of tune. And then the final one, it is in December that I'm releasing. This one is this one. So this is from Paul McCartney, Wonderful Christmas Time. I've done a separate video breakdown of how I actually created this sound. It's a nice technique actually with using that filter to recreate that sound. Instantly familiar when you hear those notes. But yeah, quite good fun. So that is my analog set. We've got 31 performances. We've got some programs as well on there that you can include in your own sets. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the sounds. More on thedigitalLifestyle.com. You can help support the channel by supporting us on Patreon or buying one of the premium packs. All the links are included on the video. Thanks to all the Patreon supporters as well. When you Patreon supporters, you get early access to the videos plus some of the sounds which I publish through Patreon as well. So some patches and sets and things like that. Sometimes the early ones for general release, and sometimes they're just ones that I've been playing with and want to release. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.